What's up, U39 family? My name's Jacob, and this is my 2003 Sapphire Black 530IA. I got this car about a year ago, and I've done quite a bit to it, so let's get started. Starting with the exterior, I went ahead and replaced all of the badges on the hood, on the trunk, and on the wheels as well. One of the other things I'd done early on was I was kind of experimenting with Plasti Dip. It was new to me. I thought it was really cool, so I went ahead and Plasti Dip the front grills and also Plasti Dip the window trim. As this is a base model 530, it came with chrome window trim, and I thought black just kind of suited everything else, and the chrome popped out a little too much in my opinion. I've also replaced the front bumper. Like I said, this was a base model, so it came with the regular base front bumper, which I really didn't like, and also had a lot of stone chips in it and stuff like that. So went ahead and changed it. Now this did cost me a little more than I wanted it to. Living in Canada, I was only able to source one out in the States, and so driving down to go pick it up and then painting it and paying taxes and all this stuff, it was a little bit more expensive than I wanted to, but it's also something that I see every time I approach or leave the car, so it puts a smile on my face, and I'm really happy I did it. One of the things I've had to work on a lot when I also first purchased this car was the headlights. They were very hazy, they're very blurry, and I had tried several methods to restore them. I tried the clear coat method, so it's wet sanding it to a point where you just kind of spray on clear coat, and I was not very knowledgeable with spray cans and rattle cans and stuff like that, so I did mess them up pretty bad. So I went ahead and pulled them off the car. I purchased these temporary aftermarket European style headlights. I mean, they were just regular halogen bulbs. They looked very good, but I couldn't see anything at night, so I'm happy I finally got these back. I went ahead and just kept buffing them instead of trying the clear coat method. I finally got these back on, which I'm really happy about because I got my xenons back, and I've kind of just settled to buffing them every once in a while. I find they look great. They're very clear now. Yeah. I've also purchased a Thule rack, which is very helpful because I do have a place in the mountains and I drive up there quite frequently, so it's a little bit more storage space as well. My car doesn't have the ski hole in the back seats, so I do also have a ski box I can put up there. I've also replaced the muffler to a this is a MagnaFlow 14815 muffler. I love the way this thing looks. I love the way it sounds. It's nothing too crazy, but I mean, that's something I really like about it because I do daily drive this car. I'm not trying to show off. I don't have a V8, so this does the trick. It does sound very good, and it's very subtle as well. So one of the most recent purchases for this car are these 19-inch Avant-Garde M359 wheels. I do really like them. These are my favorite style of wheels. I am a huge M3 fan, so I mean, I purchased these knowing they'd look good on this car. There's a lot of controversy as to whether concave wheels suit this car or dished wheels suit this car, and although I do enjoy the look of many of the dished wheels out there for this car, these are my favorite. They've always been my favorite, and I still love the way these look. These are 10-inch wheels in the back, so I mean, as you can see, they're pretty wide, and these are 9-inch in front. One of the decisions I had to make when purchasing these wheels was what tires I would put on them. Now, since these wheels did cost quite a bit, and I am a student, I don't have all the money in the world, so I had to make a decision, and I went ahead and just bought Michelin Pilot Super Sports. I kind of understood that, I mean, this is what's holding my car to the ground, so it's pretty important. I didn't really want to cheap out and get these cheap tires that would just annoy me and be really loud and that I'd have to change next summer. So really happy with those wheels and tires. I love this setup. In terms of the shape this car is in, I do daily drive this car. I do live in Canada, so we have the extreme cold and the extreme heat in the summer. So I mean, it has its fair share of wear on this car. It has a few door dings that I am planning on getting fixed. I just don't really have the money for it right now. It would be hard to show, but I mean, I've got about, I think, 3 on this side, maybe 2 on the other side. As for rust, it's actually not bad compared to a lot of cars that I see within Eastern Canada. This does suffer from a bit of rust down in this corner. If you can see that. As well as in the door well over here. Right down there. But other than that, this car is pretty rust-free. I also have a little spot next to the license plate here. But thankfully, this car has no gas cap rust, which is very surprising. And yeah, it's in pretty good shape. I mean, I've taken a lot of care with it. All that's happened to this car really has not been under my control. It is how it is since I've bought it. A few little dings here and there, but overall everything's pretty straight. Now to wrap up the exterior, this is something I kind of did quite a while ago as well. As I got the trunk lip spoiler as well as this rear window spoiler, which I do really like, and I find it kind of adds a level of aggressiveness to the car. So let's head on inside to the interior. So I've tried to spend most of my time with this car cleaning it, refurbishing it, making it much better shape than it was when I bought it. So I've done a few things to the interior, but it's really not much. One of the things are these gauge rings. I really like these gauge rings. It's something you see in your car every time you drive, and I find it looks super clean. So I'm really happy with them. Now, I've also installed this auxiliary port. Super helpful for when I'm in my car for long periods of time. It was a very easy install for me, as my radio kind of matched up with the whole plug and play. It was a year that had a slot already made for this auxiliary cord. Yeah, other than that, everything's stock. Everything's just kind of been cleaned thoroughly. I've taken parts off to kind of get in there. I've had to replace that window regulator, which has been a successful repair. But yeah, other than that, it's very clean in here. I'm not the biggest fan of this wood trim. It is cracking in several places, and I do find it kind of old. I am searching for a silver or gray trim on the used market, but I've yet to come across one that I really like. So yeah, I am a little bummed that this is an automatic. I actually bought this car from a family member, so I didn't have much choice, and I got a really good deal on it, so I went ahead and purchased it. But I am actually hoping to find an E46 SMG steering wheel, so it would give me the paddle shifters, which I can hardwire to my Steptronic. I think that would add a little bit of a level of fun to this car for the drives that I do in the mountains and mountain roads and stuff like that. But other than that, like, I didn't really expect too much out of this car, so I'm not really going to go ahead and swap out the whole transmission for a manual. I think that's a little too far-fetched for now. That's pretty much it. So just to quickly go into the engine bay here, everything is stock. I have not modified. I do not plan on modifying anything. This is just me kind of staying true to myself. This is a 530. It's not a 540. It's not an M5, which I've accepted, and I kind of like that. You know, like, it's not an aggressive car. It's something I can afford, and it's great for my needs. So I'm not gonna play around and try to get more performance out of it. Yeah, everything's stock. I've cleaned this engine bay quite a bit. I try to clean it every time I wash the car. I've done a little bit of maintenance work for a few things. 2 or 3 weeks after I purchased the car, my alternator went bad. I had to replace that. This winter, my radiator started leaking coolant fluid, and so I replaced that this winter. I've also replaced this valve cover gasket. But yeah, no, so far it's been pretty reliable. I like to keep the engine bay clean, because if something does start leaking, if something does start pissing out of somewhere, at least it's easier to spot out. That's my stock 530. I'll go ahead and I'll put a sound clip of my muffler for those of you interested in hearing what it sounds like. But yeah, that's my car. My name's Jacob. This is my 2003 530 IA. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like the video if you like my car, and if you don't, well, I don't really care. I think E39 Swiss is great. I love watching introductions of cars, so if you're watching and if you have an E39, go ahead and do exactly what I did, because I really like those videos, so I think this is great. Peace!